What's good, YouTube? It's Nas, and we back with another video. Road to 800 subscribers, of course. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Western Conference. And yesterday I talked about the East, so let's talk about the West. And I feel like in the beginning of the season, we all thought that the Western Conference was by far the superior conference. And right now, I feel like there's more, how do I say, it's not as close as we thought it was going to be in the beginning of the season. And right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the number one seed. They're the second best team in the league. And really, I remember during the early parts of the season where we thought the Thunder were going to go better than the 73-9 Warriors. There's even a video on my channel debating whether it was better than the Warriors. And obviously, we turned out to be wrong. The Thunder started to go on a losing streak. And I feel like when we look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, we've yet to see them for consecutive games at full strength. Like, soon as somebody comes back, somebody else gets injured. Like, Isaiah Hartenstein was out for a couple games. He comes back, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets injured. Jalen Williams comes back, Chet Holmgren gets injured. Chet Holmgren comes back, Shai gets injured. Like, it's all been about injuries for, I feel like, this Oklahoma City Thunder team. And not too many people are giving them the respect, I feel like. Even with them being the number one seed, even them being on, obviously, an injury-prone season, like, I feel like people are still talking shit about them, even though we have yet to see them on obviously on a consistent basis be healthy this season. We've yet to see what they had this season. And really, I feel like people are still getting excited over beating an unhealthy Thunder team. So that should just tell you how good the Thunder really are with their depth. I really do feel like adding Jared McCain really helps this team. And I really feel like the coach is going to have to manage a lot of minutes because there's a lot of good young guards on this team. They don't really have enough wings. I do feel like you need to stagnate Lu Dort's minutes because Lu Dort, obviously, we know the defender he is, but as a three-point threat, as a scorer, he is not that at all. But I could go on and on about the Oklahoma City Thunder, but let's just move on to the San Antonio Spurs. And I feel like a lot of people didn't expect the San Antonio Spurs to be on top of, obviously, the West. And I feel like I'm one of the only people that expected Victor Wembanyama to do this season. There's a video on my channel earlier talking about how I thought Wemby was going to have a case for MVP this season, and sure has he. Like, this whole team around him, De'Aaron, Stephon Castle, Julian Champagnie, Harrison Barnes coming off the bench now, Devin Vassell, Dylan Harper coming off the bench, like Keldon Johnson coming off the bench. Like, the Spurs do have depth, and I feel like the only thing people have against them is them being a young team like we had against the 23-24 Spurs. 23-24 Thunder. But when we look at the Spurs, I really do think this is a whole different concept because I really did not think that Jalen Williams was ready to be a second option that season. I think we seen last year when he made his finals run, he had 40 in a finals game. That's obviously when Jalen Williams popped out. But I feel like that's not going to be the same issue because De'Aaron played in the playoffs before. De'Aaron will show up, I feel like. And having Stephon Castle, I feel like that's the outlier piece because if Stephon Castle shows up, I really do feel like they will be a tough out. Even with their defense, even with their scoring, even with Victor Wembanyama, nobody on the planet being able to guard him. Really, you're just looking at the Spurs team, you can honestly see why I have so much faith in them coming out of the West. But ultimately, it's only February 16th, so we won't know until the end of the season. But next, talking about the Denver Nuggets, and the Denver Nuggets are 35-20. They just really haven't been healthy at all this season. Like, I feel like once somebody comes back, like I was saying with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but for sure the Denver Nuggets, I feel like once somebody comes back, somebody goes out for 4 to 6 weeks. Like, Peyton Watson was playing some of the best basketball in the league, and then he gets injured. Nikola Jokic was number one on the MVP boards. He gets injured. Aaron Gordon was playing some great role player minutes. He gets injured. Christian Brown was finding his rhythm. He gets injured. The only player that hasn't been in and out of the lineup is Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray became an all-star this season because of all the injuries. We haven't seen the Denver Nuggets at full strength. We don't know what they're capable of. And I really feel like it is scary that they're still 35-20 without seeing this full roster. They added Tim Hardaway Jr. They added Cam Johnson shooting with the development of Peyton Watson, with Christian Brown. I don't know what he is, but he fit next to Jokic, with Jokic obviously being the best player on the planet right now still. I feel like you just look at this Denver Nuggets team, it's hard not to pick them at all to come out the West. And I really do feel like if it's anybody but the Spurs, I really feel like the Denver Nuggets could give the Oklahoma City Thunder the hardest challenge if they want to get out the playoffs. But next, talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. Excuse me, we're not going to be talking about the Lakers yet. We're going to be talking about the Houston Rockets. And the Houston Rockets are the 4th seed. They're 33-20. They're 1 game ahead of the Los Angeles Lakers right now. And when you look at the Rockets, I really feel like they are in so much disarray. The KD files, what people are calling it on Twitter, came out, and he's bashing Jabari, he's bashing Alfred Sengun. And really, when you look at this team, it's really only KD. I do feel like Sengun has made a lot of mistakes this season, and I really do feel like his defense has really been pointed out with Steven Adams being out for the season. It's forcing Sengun to be in defensive situations which he cannot do. Having Jabari Smith Jr., which I feel like he is still as inconsistent as he was in his rookie season, which you cannot have if you're playing next to a great like Kevin Durant, which I don't know. I do think Amen Thompson has had a great season this season, but obviously the defense being able to sag off on him the way that they do, it's just not really a good look at all. And really just not having a point guard, not addressing anything during the trade deadline. I thought for sure they were going to make a trade to get at least a point guard that could start. I guess you're relying heavily on Reed Shepherd, and it really doesn't seem like Udoka is really developing Reed how he should. We know Reed has a jumper on him, but at the same time, I don't feel like he's developing his playmaking. I feel like anytime Reed is in the game, Amen is still ball handling, and that really doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't know. The Rockets have a lot of shit to situate, and I really don't see them as really true contenders this season. Yes, they will most likely be a hard out, but at the same time, I don't want to count out KD, but looking at the team around him, how I thought this season was going to go, it just really hasn't gone that way so far. Maybe they could get it together after I record this video and the season starts again on Thursday, but who knows. But next, talking about, like I was about to talk about before, the Los Angeles Lakers, who are 33-21, and I made a video talking about how the Lakers aren't contenders, and I really do still feel this way. And I do feel like that addition of Luke Kennard for Gabe Vincent, really getting rid of nothing for something, I really do think that makes a difference. But when you look at the Lakers, they didn't address their big concern, which was defense. And having Luka, AR, and LeBron, I never want to count out Luka or LeBron, but at the same time, you can't help but notice the roster inconsistencies on this team. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going to bash LeBron, which a lot of people did. That was one of my most disliked videos on my channel. But when you look at the whole bigger picture, I don't think it's really LeBron. I do think it's the defense, and I do think it's the roster construction, because when Jake LaRavia is not hooping, or when Rui Hachimura isn't hooping, when DeAndre Ayton looks absolutely soft, who are you going to rely on? When Marcus Smart absolutely stinks, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? And I'm interested to see how the rest of this Lakers season goes, because I really do feel like it can't get worse. Or it probably can, but their defense can't get much worse than it is right now. I feel like it's really just them being close in the fourth quarters, and then Luka willing them to a win and helping them out, unless they're playing one of the worst teams in the league. My friend told me that the Lakers have one of the hardest schedules in the second half of the season, so it's interesting to see how they're going to play against the rest of the top teams in the NBA. But next, talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are right now the 6th seed. And really, Minnesota, I do think they address some kind of concern with Ayo Dosunmu, but at the same time, not getting a real point guard, I really do think Ayo is a combo guard, but not getting a real point guard, I do think will come back to haunt them. But you have Anthony Edwards on your team. I really don't think you have anything to worry about. He just won All-Star Game MVP. He's still one of the best players in the league. Jaden McDaniels, I feel like he has increased his scoring outbursts, and when Jaden McDaniels is hooping, he's playing his best basketball. It's really hard to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Julius Randle, when he's on, I do think it's hard, but Julius Randle still does Julius Randle stuff. Makes stupid turnovers, does isolation when he doesn't have to, and Rudy Gobert being one of the best defenders, if not the best defender in the league, I do think at this point Rudy Gobert has become underrated in the NBA, and I do think that's kind of crazy. But the Minnesota Timberwolves being the 6th seed, right now they will play the Denver Nuggets, and they beat them before, so I'm interested to see if that remains a series. But next, talking about the Phoenix Suns. I can say I did not expect the Phoenix Suns to be as good as they are. And really, I believe in the Phoenix Suns. And that's crazy to say. If you had asked me in October, I would have never said that. And really, Booker's playmaking has become amazing this season. I really did not like the point guard Book experience. I didn't like it at all before the season, but at the same time, Booker somehow making a way or finding a way to make Dylan Brooks look like a prominent scoring threat is huge. And I do feel like once you get Jalen Green more acclimated, because Jalen Green comes back, then he gets injured the very next game. And I really do think the Phoenix Suns will manage his minutes for the rest of the season for how injury prone he's really been this season. But it's just interesting to see at full strength what this Phoenix Suns team can actually do. And Mark Williams has been huge this season. He's proved that he can stay healthy. The Lakers were wrong. The Charlotte Hornets were wrong. Like, he can stay healthy. And really, Colin Gillespie, him starting, like, he's been good in his minutes. Grayson Allen, he's been great. Like, I do think this Suns team is really good, and really watching them, I encourage y'all to actually watch or tune into Phoenix Suns games because they're actually fun to watch. And I really do think like them being one of the best defensive teams in the league is really overshadowed by obviously having the offensive superpower that they have. But looking at it at the same time, I do think it's really hard not to believe in the Phoenix Suns. And next, talking about the Golden State Warriors, who are the 8th seed. They're 29-26, and I do think they will possibly come out with this 8th seed. And it would really be dangerous for them to stay in the 8th seed because they would play the Oklahoma City Thunder first round. And looking at it, I never want to count out Steph Curry, right? But at the same time, I can't help but notice that this roster isn't good enough to compete. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it at all. I don't think this roster is good at all. And when you look at the Golden State Warriors, they added Kristaps Porzingis at the trade deadline. Yes, Porzingis is still nice when he's available. And that's really all it's been with Porzingis throughout his career. And it's the Warriors having all their chips and bargains with Porzingis being healthy. I just don't think that's a good enough chip to follow on. And really, I do think they are wasting Stephen Curry's last great seasons. And it sucks because I know a lot of Curry fans are going to believe in this Warriors team. And why not? You have to believe in your team no matter what. But at the same time, I can't help but ignore that after Jimmy Butler went down, I really feel like this season went into shambles for the Golden State Warriors. But next, talking about the Portland Trailblazers, they've been better than I expected. Denny Avdija turned into an all-star. I'm making a Scoot Henderson video soon, so be on the lookout for that. And I really do think the Portland Trailblazers being one of the best defensive teams in the league shouldn't surprise you at all. Look at all the defensive versatility on the team. Like, you could look it up yourself. Donovan Clingan being a great big man, Shaedon Sharpe being a scorer. And I really do think next season, with Damian Lillard coming back, I'm interested to see what the Portland Trailblazers do with their guard positioning, with their guard rotations, because they have a lot of good guards on their team. But next, lastly, talking about the Los Angeles Clippers, and they sold a lot at the deadline. Like, I made multiple videos talking about the Clippers, so this is not going to be a long segment at all. But Kawhi Leonard being in God mode, with Darius Garland potentially returning this season. They added Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson at the deadline. And I don't think, like Kawhi Leonard said, like, he doesn't even think this Clippers team is contenders. And really, Kawhi playing his best basketball this season, I'm looking to see if maybe Kawhi is traded this offseason. Probably not, because Steve Ballmer is in love with him. So I'm interested to see what's Kawhi Leonard's future with the Los Angeles Clippers. But nonetheless, if you made it to the end of the video, I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on the Western Conference. Subscribe. What's good, y'all? If y'all made it to the end of the video, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And there's a video right here. I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it if you like this one. And the channel icon's right there if you want to just check out the channel in general. And yeah, leave a like too, because it really helps the algorithm push me out. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching this video nonetheless.